Hello, good morning and welcome to online lectures on soft skills. In course of our lectures on soft skills, we are presently discussing technical reports which are actually a part of business activities in the present day world. In the previous lectures, we have talked about the definition of the report, the types of report and the various strategies that can help you write the report. While discussing the strategies, we also talked about the various methods of data collection which can enable you to collect the data later to be followed by the organization and evaluation of the material. But once you have evaluated the material and you have organized, giving your report a tentative shape in the form of its outline, now is the time to write the report, because we are talking about written reports and not the oral ones. So, a written report, as you all know, has to be written, and when you write the report, you actually have to think of the style or the language. When you talk about the style or the language, which we may also call elements of style, because the report has to be written. So, when we talk about elements of style, our focus primarily will be on the language part. Now, which language should be there while writing a report? We have already talked about in various lectures that a technical document will have a different sort of language which is free from the use of language in general ways. But when we are talking about report language, our particular focus is on the language that we should adopt while writing a report. The question then is report writing or the language of report different from other forms? Is the language being used in a report different from the language that you use in letters? Of course, when you write letters or when you write memos, since they are short reports, the language used is a little bit different. But when you use language for the report, then we have to take into consideration that it is not only the sentence, because a report can continue to go for say 30 pages, 35 pages whatsoever. But while you are going to do that, you do not require only sentences, you also require paragraphs, you also require words. But then the question is what sort of words? So, today we will have to focus more on the writing of the reports, and while doing so we should see how we are going to divide the language of the report and what are the different strategies we will apply while we are writing the report. So, the first is, because you know whether it is a paragraph or it is a sentence, every sentence is actually a combination of words. So, naturally your report also will have combination of words, but the question is, if in a letter you are talking about a particular say subject or a particular issue, but especially in technical reports, since it is technical by nature, the language has to be technical. Now, what is the basic difference between the language that is technical and the language that is general? Since the reader of your report, as we have discussed in the previous lecture, that your readers may comprise people who are having different backgrounds. So, when they are going to read our reports, we have to see their background, their knowledge, because all of them are not as qualified as the writer of the report or not acquainted with the subject the way you are. Hence, we also have to take into consideration the use of words. So, our first target is to see what sort of words. So, first is the choice of words, and when in choice of words, you know, words are either content words or they are functional words. But in order to ensure the functionality and the specificity of a language in a report, we have to see the sort of words that we will use. Since a report, a technical report is technical in nature, hence there will be so many terms which we may not use in our day to day lives. Hence, we will be using some words which are technical. There are some words which are from a different say a subject on a different issue. So, when we talk about the choice of words and phrases, the first thing is, let us take a mantra, and the mantra is let us try to see how we can avoid the use of cliche. Now, a word can be a cliche, a word when we are talking about the report, you may not only confine yourself only to words, but you may also be using phrases, and these words and phrases will make sentences, and these sentences later will be developed into paragraphs. Now, keeping into consideration your reader, because the reader has to read the report, since the main focus of the report is to take action. Now, there are several people involved who have to take action. The first is the person, I mean the immediate boss or your immediate officer or your reporting officer who will take action. Later on, whether your report is going to solve a crisis or a problem, that's a different story. But then we have to ensure that the data we have, the information we have, that information has to be presented, and presented in a written manner. So, while presenting them in a written manner, the way we will be using words, because as we have been saying that words do not have specific meanings. It is actually the speakers who has got meaning. The speaker has got the meaning, and depending upon the context the speaker chooses his words. So, let us see what sort of words. First is the cliche, then jargons, we will define all of them, then redundancy, and then circumlocution. Now, one question that might be coming in your mind is, what actually is a cliche? But then before going to that, let us also say that we also in our report we will also come across certain words which have to be used, but then the audience or the reader, they are not familiar with. I mean foreign words and phrases. Then sometimes because you at times may have a paucity of time, so you might be using abbreviations. But imagine if you use abbreviations, your reader also should know the complete words of those abbreviations. So, now the suggestion is you should try to restrict yourself more and more to creating a sort of rapport or to creating a sort of familiarity. Now, how this familiarity can be created, that is through the use of words. Now, suppose there are two people, one is an engineer, another is a doctor. So, when they are communicating or when they are going to read each other's report, will they understand? Because the doctor will be using his own terminologies, the engineer will be using his own terminologies, and in between there will be a sort of impasse or the deadlock or the sort of difficulty. Hence, as a report writer, since you are going to write the report, as a report writer, what you need to do is you need to see the level, because you cannot understand the level of all your readers. Hence, there is a third way, and the third way is try to make use of those words which are at least familiar. Now, the question is, when you talk about words, let us see what Nathaniel Hawthorne says about words. He says, because as people, as writers, we use words, but then sometimes we use difficult words, and we use difficult words in a way that may impose the understanding of the other person who is going to read them. So, let us look at what Nathaniel Hawthorne says. Words so innocent and powerless as they are, as standing in a dictionary, how potent for good and evil they become in the hands of one who knows how to combine them. The meaning is crystal clear that words, they may appear innocent or powerless, meaning thereby the user has actually the power to make a word powerful. Sometimes the user, even when he does not know, because he is not aware of the background of his readers, so he uses a word, but then that word may pose difficulty. Now, when you are dealing with words, there are certain things that you must keep into consideration. Please, while you are writing the report, do not use words which are unusual. I will give you several examples of how a word can be unusual. I mean, the way you are using words when you are writing, every now and then you must imagine that your reader is before you. So, if you keep into consideration your readers, naturally you will be more having a sort of discretion for your reader. I mean sort of sympathy for a reader, because maybe the reader is not acquainted with that word. So, unusual words are chosen just for the air of intellectuality. Remember, there are so many people, even think of yourself also, when you might be writing something, you might be thinking it to make it so wordy, because you have the impression that if you write it in a wordy manner, it will make very appealing. No, it cannot make an appeal unless and until it is understood. So, when you are, I mean there are many people who are suffering from this problem, that they try to impose their knowledge, and they do that by making use of words which are difficult. Now, the question is how to understand the difficulty level. We cannot understand the difficulty level, hence let us try to be more specific, let us try to be very cautious while using words. Use familiar words instead of words which are difficult. When we talk about specific words, we will be giving you several examples. Say for example, if I say the majority were divided in their opinion as regards the new incubation center. Look at this sentence. The sentence says the majority were divided in their opinion. Now, majority may mean 60%, 70%, 80%, but then as a report writer, since you have to ensure clarity, since you have to understand, you have to ensure a sort of understanding. So, what you need to do is you need to be more specific. And how can you be specific, my dear friend? You can be specific by saying 70%, 60%, 80%. Because you know, people should not strive and people should not keep on getting themselves troubled by finding out the implication of that word. Otherwise, what will happen? People will leave that report and they will not read, and if they do not read your report, naturally your report will have no action. That is why it is better to say that if we use plain and familiar word, perhaps the task will become easier. Now, I'll give you several examples, and today you have to concentrate more on the slides, because we are discussing the problem of language, and you know, my dear friends, it is language that acts as a weapon, whether it is in terms of writing, in terms of speaking. But then when you are writing a report, your main purpose is to ensure understanding, hence the need is to use words which are familiar. Now, let us see this example. This says the ramifications of the experiment done in the laboratory should be corroborated. Now, if I ask you very honestly, do you understand the meaning of corroborate? I mean, you may know it, but do all people know? No. Again, there is another word, that is ramifications. So, people often get confused as to what the writer of this sentence wants. Now, if such a sentence you come across, or you feel like writing, better have a second thought, decide and then change it. And by changing, and when you change, what do? You have to make it simple, you have to make it effective. Something that is simple is effective. So, revise the sentence, and if you revise, you will find it will become easier. because words may be long and words may be short, but when you are writing a report which is of a very technical nature, there also you will face the same problem of putting a word that is difficult. So take the care and use a sentence by revising the same sentence. You see, if I revise this sentence, I may say the result of the lab experiment should be verified. I think even a common person having the basic knowledge of English will understand it. So our focus should be to make our sentences speak, not that, because everyone doesn't sit every now and then with a thesaurus or a dictionary, as I have been saying, and your report cannot be read if it actually does not ensure clarity, if it does not ensure smoothness. Again, you can have a look at the another sentence where you will find that there are some unfamiliar words used. See what the sentence says: the veracity of scientists' claim requires proper validation. I mean, the two words that have been used here are difficult from the common people's understanding. Veracity, I mean, what does this veracity mean? So if we simplify it and say, instead of veracity we say truth, and instead of validation we say proof, the things will become easier. So let us say the truth of the scientist's claim requires proof, and the sentence becomes readable, the sentence becomes understandable. But then it is not only the question of difficult words, but it is actually the question of the user who is going to use it. Now have a look at these words. If these words are used in a report or in a technical document, people who are going to take action and read that, they will find it very difficult and soon they will leave it, because they do not have time, and in a present day world all of us are running short of time. See the word apogee. Why can't you change this word apogee and say orbit? Again another word, camaraderie. I mean, why to choose such a difficult word? Say friendship. Dismember this into several parts. It's better to say cut than to dismember. Impasse, there is an impasse. No. So if such a situation is there, you have to change those words to the familiar words. These words are difficult. The last word that I have put here very willingly enough, because most of the time people may come across using, they feel that by using that they perhaps show their air of intelligence. Say they use the word like obtuse, and they say, they even frame a sentence like this: his obtuse talk lacked synergy of thoughts. Now this obtuse is a difficult word. Let us say dull, and again you are talking about this synergy. We can say something, we can say unity, and if we simply say his dull talk lacked interest, lacked coherence, lacked coordination, lacked cooperation. Friends, one word may have different meanings, but go for those words which are specific, because and how can you make your writing specific? If you feel that there is a difficult word, that is why time and again I have been saying that when you have written something, please revise, and when you revise you feel the need of changing the word. How do you change? You must know a word which is less difficult, a word which is more specific, a word which is more general, a word which is a synonym. So synonym are actually the near meanings and they help. Next, sometimes you will find again people at times make use of modifiers. Now what are these modifiers? Modify, modify, you also know modify. I mean, modify actually, what modify does is, modify actually explains. So when you are using a sentence, some way or the other you will find that whether you want it or not, some modifiers have crept in, and these modifiers or these adjectives, they actually make readers dangle from one word to another word. I mean, they have to keep moving. What is the meaning? And there are certain examples also given. If you concentrate on these slides, you will find, you have a look at the first sentence and you will yourself feel that it could have been better if we could have changed this. Say for example, the construction department deserves all praises and credits for making such new and novel structure. Now look at these words. There are two words which are merely, modifiers or adjectives. Praises and credits, so go for the one word only. New and novel, go for one word only. I mean, your task should be to establish the meaning, and that is what the readers also want. Readers want to move forward when they are reading something. Again, another sentence we can take. Newly recruited junior managers failed to make out. Sometimes people also make use of phrases, they make use of idiomatic expressions, they make use of phrasal verbs, and all these are going to pose difficulty, because people may know the meaning of make, but if you are putting another word with that, it may actually complicate the process. Make out, make up, make for, I mean all these words have different meanings. So instead of saying make out, why don't you say, you can always say instead of make out, mean. If we say newly recruited junior managers failed to make out, you simply say newly recruited junior managers could not understand the CEO's inaugural speech. It becomes easier. So on many occasions, even people do not know, sometimes the modifiers themselves are misplaced. Say for example, if you say speaking before the large audience, my knees began to knock. Speaking before the large audience, my knees began to knock. Fine. Now how can your knees begin to knock? So here you have actually given an example of misplaced modifiers. You can revise that and you can say, speaking before the large audience, I felt my knees, or I felt my knees knocking. Fine. So you have to, your basic purpose is to make use of words or prefer words which provide meaning. It is not only the question of phrases, words, but at times when let us go one more step further and say there are people who actually even nowadays they are making use of cliche. You might be thinking what a cliche is. A cliche, if we have to define cliche, we can say a cliche is actually a word which at a time might have been very popular, but because of its overuse, excessive use, this has become a cliche. It has lost its relevance, and there are many people who are still using those cliches. I can also provide you a list of cliche where you will find people are using cliche, but then they have to restrict themselves from the use of cliche, otherwise their writing will become very cumbersome, it will become very boring. Here is an example. If you say the report discusses threadbare the problem of air pollution in India. Now the one word that you have given there, threadbare, is a cliche. So you have to simplify and say the report discusses the problem of air pollution in India in detail. There are, as we are progressing, so our language is also progressing. Because of the new advancements, new cliches are also appearing. Here are some examples of the new cliche which people at times feel like using. For example, if they say, giving a lecture before such a large audience is an uphill task. Now people will start thinking about uphill task. Why can't they simply say speaking before a large crowd is a challenge? So this uphill task can be substituted. Like that, you may often say, people at times quoting what is actually the writing on the wall regarding the new policies. I mean, when they say writing on the wall, many people, if they simply take it verbatim, they will think that is something written on the wall. So it is better, and this is an idiomatic expression and this is a sort of cliche, it is better to say what is the prediction about the new policies. You see, keep yourself in the position of the reader and you will find there have to be much precision and much caution while you are making use of words. Otherwise, at times, even with the best intention, the report which you have written will fail to create any impact on the reader, and the report may appear to be simply a waste of time, and however hard you have tried your level best, you will feel that your report has got no effect at all. Here is a list of commonly used cliches. Many people often say, will you please repeat again? Now the question is, sometimes or the other, sometimes people often say, I have seen you moving day in and day out. I shall leave no stone unturned to make you understand what soft skills are. If I could have simply said, I will try my level best, or I will work hard to make you understand what soft skills are. Sometimes people often say, the terrorist attacks have become a burning question for the mankind. They could have simplified it and said, terrorist attacks have become quite common nowadays. So instead of making use of cliche, it is better to make use of familiar words and phrases. Sometimes people have a temptation towards foreign words and phrases. Foreign words and phrases. Now these foreign words, because you know most of us understand the fact that English earlier was not as popular as Latin, and there were many scholars who had to read Latin first and then English. So the impact of Latin is still there on many scholars, and at times when they are going to use something, they make use of foreign words and phrases. So when you feel that there are uses of foreign words and phrases, it is better to stop and change that. Say for example, if you say, oh, have you got the sapiana? Have you got the sapiana? Now this sapiana is a foreign word which actually means the call or the summon by the court. Oh, you are talking about that singer. Oh, he's an avant-garde. Fine. So you could have said he's a pioneer instead of saying he is an avant-garde. Okay, have you clarified your tatata? Now when you say tatata, many people will not understand, so it is better to say, what about your personal interview? Have you cleared your personal interview? Dear friends, as a professional, when you are using, you actually have to be aware of so many technical words, and these technical words are called jargons. You have to free yourself from excessive use of jargons that keep coming in our day-to-day writings and even in our formal writings. I have already given you the example of how two professionals, one from one discipline, another from another discipline, when they exchange their words of their own profession, they come in and between, and that creates a lot of impasse, or that creates a lot of difficulty. Let us have a look at, so jargon, what is a jargon? Jargon is a language which is too much of technicality, and if the reader is not that technical, he will not understand. So you have to keep into consideration the reader's level, the reader's background. Let us look at the second example that I have provided that can be changed. Say if somebody says or somebody writes, the spectrum of infection with the human immunodeficiency virus continues to evolve with the availability of new scientific information. Will anyone understand what is this human immunodeficiency? But then if instead of this you use a word which is technical but yet familiar, if somebody says HIV, everyone will understand, but sometimes sometimes even abbreviations are more helpful than their explanations. So if this sentence, the spectrum of infection with the human immunodeficiency virus continues to evolve with the availability of new scientific information, if it is changed, it will give more clarity as we are learning more each day about the range of infection in people with HIV. You see, nothing has been done, simply some words have been changed, but while you change, you are not changing the meaning that you have to keep into consideration. Again, sometimes people use pedagogue for a teacher. Now, if they write a sentence when they are writing a report, say on teaching in India, and they use a sentence like, the responsibility of a person involved in pedagogical pursuits is to impart knowledge to those sent to him for instruction, the sentence appears not only longer, rather the sentence appears to be very cumbersome, and it actually imposes the meaning which people do not know. Now, for people to understand the meaning, they will have to look for a dictionary. So, it is better to revise this sentence and say a teacher's job is to instruct students or to teach students. Dear friends, there are quite a good number of examples which will help you understand how you can reduce the difficulty level, and one such is redundancy. Everyone is familiar with the word redundant, but then when they make use of words, they do not understand that they are becoming redundant. For example, have you not heard people saying, oh, I mean that person, though he was giving a long lecture, but perhaps he lacked basic fundamentals. Dear friends, people may lack in fundamentals. So, simply saying fundamentals or basic will do, there is nothing to be said as basic fundamentals. Are you going to return again, sir, by giving such a long lecture? No, I will return, but I will not return again. Sir, will you repeat again? I will repeat, but I will not repeat again. I mean, these are some of the examples of how people, when they are writing, they actually tend to make use of redundant expressions, and that actually make their reports weighty, and people fail to understand how some action can be taken. You might have heard many people saying, is it the final result? I mean, a result is final. Why? There is no semi-final result except in a T20 or say in football matches and all. But then when you say result itself is final. A great majority of people, you have heard people saying a great majority of people, they do not understand the true facts. Dear friends, facts are facts. They cannot be false. So, why are we going to make use of such expressions which are going to be redundant? So, avoid the use of redundancy. Even you must also avoid making use of unfamiliar words. Here is a list where you will find on the left hand, you will find words which are unfamiliar, but if you substitute them, you will find that you can have the familiarity. I mean, in order to ensure familiarity, all you need to do is you need to choose a simple word that speaks. Again, sometimes people take resort to circumlocutions. I mean, circumlocutions are roundabout expressions. I mean, something that you want to say, but you have not been able to say. So, for that you make use of circumstances. I mean, nothing is clear. You actually create your sentence in such a manner that it becomes very difficult. Let us take an example. We are cognizant that you are experiencing difficulties during this period of reorganization of your central office. Why should you say cognizant? It is better to say you know. fine, or we know. There is nothing like using the word cognizance or something like that. At times, as I said, you may go for abbreviations, but remember, your audience must understand the full form of the abbreviations. Otherwise, if you are using with some purpose and your reader has derived a different purpose, then it will become difficult. For example, nowadays, you know, many youngsters, they have a habit of shortening the words. Instead of saying institute, they will say insti. Instead of saying polymers, they will say Polyclass. I am going to the Polyclass. I have heard a number of students using Audi for auditorium. Even people have the habit of. But sometimes if you say I am going to be in the Audi. Now people may think perhaps you are going to be in an Audi car, isn't it? So it is better to say, or it is better to write, I am going to the auditorium. Oh, what an enthuse! Oh, this prof, he actually makes a lot of fuss. So people sometimes may feel that you are simply, either you are trying to be very smart, or sometimes people also use abbreviations which they understand. But remember, there are some abbreviations which have become very familiar, there is no use. But then abbreviations which have not become familiar, if you are going to use them, that will create difficulty. Say for example, if you say ATR, if somebody says FIG, people will start thinking what is this FIG, unless and until they know that it is faculty initiation grant, or CVR, if people do not understand that it is cockpit voice recorder. So my advice to all of you is that use words, use abbreviations, but please see that while you are making use of that, you should also have some consideration for your readers. If your readers are having the same background as you, there is no problem, but readers are varied and reports are written on a demand, and when reports are written on demand, you do not understand who your readers are. So it is always better to follow the medium path, and the medium path is to use maximum number of words that are familiar and not use words which are unfamiliar. For example, here you can see the words like corroborate. Why don't you use prove instead of corroborate? Antiquated, you are talking about something old, fine. Annihilation, better say destruction instead of saying annihilation. Conflagration, better to say fire than conflagration. Ramification, say result, don't say ramification. Envisage, think, all this. There are certain ways by which you can make your task easier. But remember, you can see here, I'm showing you a clip where you can find the way the words have been used. It may create a sort of difficulty. He says he is sorry and will try to be more sensitive. Instead of using sensitive, because when we use the word sensitive, the meaning is somehow different. So sometimes people think of using the word sensible and use sensitive. But he wants to change the subject because he is not comfortable with confrontation. Now see how this has been used. Now if you also come across such a sort of exchange, such a sort of writing, you will also feel awkward, because reports are written for a specific purpose, and the purpose is to bring a solution to a problem. Can there be solution if we do not understand? If the doctor is not able to diagnose the disease, can he provide a remedy? Can he provide a relief? So dear friends, our real aim should be to understand the fact that our readers are also human beings, and we need to use a language that is understandable and not a language that is going to block our minds and block our thoughts. I hope you have started thinking, you have started recreating the idea that when you write a report, you will be more cautious, you will be more careful, because in the next talk we shall give focus. Now, we have talked about words. In the next lecture we will be talking about say sentence structure, we will be talking about readability, we will also be talking about how at times you can use passive, at times you can use active, but till that time have a rest, enjoy before I deliver the next lecture. Thank you very much.